Joining me to discuss this and more is Sky News contributor Kosha Gada. Kosha, thanks for joining me. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Nice to be with you, Caroline.
Now, Kosha, the migrant crisis continues to be a major issue for the Biden administration.
It absolutely is. I mean, this issue alongside inflation, Caroline, is the one where he has been massively underwater, and the poll numbers continue to plummet. Something like 70% of Americans polled in the Real Clear Politics average poll disapprove of his handling of the border. And, more than half of Americans actually are very happy to have funding as required applied to securing the U.S. border, over and above securing other borders in foreign countries. You often see that juxtaposition because the U.S. taxpayer is getting fed up with U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts while you see this happening right at home. And the reason for that is there's, I think, three main layers. So one is national security. We don't know who is coming in, and there's no way it would even be possible to vet every single person in this when you see this magnitude of people coming in. The second is a practicality. You just cannot govern a country when there's a complete open border. And there's something like 30 to 40 million people in the United States right now have come in illegally. You can't govern a country that way. And I think the third is it just looks like a real moral failing because it's unfair to the millions of people who want to come in and do come in legally when you see this chaos, and it's not getting any better.
So how damaging do you think it will be for President Biden in the 2024 election? Or is it going to give Trump more of a bump since he was so hard on illegal immigration?
I mean, based on those polling figures that I mentioned and just the video that we see, the footage that you're showing in the era of social media, everybody sees this. It would normally be very damaging because, like, one of the fundamental roles of any government is securing the border and keeping the homeland safe. And this, is an abject failure at that. The issue is this is not a normal election. As you know, and we cover all the time, there's so much else going on between the legal peril that Trump is in and just the dynamics at play and the mechanics of how the election is run. So when in an old world an issue might have made a difference, I can't even say that right now just because the entire system, the way the election is conducted has kind of been turned upside down.
Yeah, who knows even if Trump will be able to run again at this point. But let's move on to the Harvard University saga. The board is now under pressure to resign after it stood by the university's president, Claudine Gay, following her train wreck testimony on anti-Semitism on the campus. Kosha, does the Ivy League school need a shake-up? And what do you think that this says about Harvard?
It says a lot. I think this saga is going to continue because if you just step back, Harvard is one of the most important and powerful institutions in the world, just in terms of the influence that it has and the alumni network and the access that it grants you into the corridors of power around the world. And it's the most elite brand in the world. So I think that's where it's become this microcosm of this fight. What's interesting is that you're seeing the battlefield now really converge with two different segments that are very powerful. One is the donors, the ultra high net worth donors that are the reason behind the $50 billion endowment fund that Harvard has, more than any other institution in the world. They're closing their checkbooks, money talks, and that's leading to a lot of pressure. On the flip side, you've got the DEI complex, as it's known, that have a lot of vested protected interests that do not want to see that shakeup happen. Somebody like Claudine Gay sort of is a poster child of what that DEI complex stands for, and they're backing her. A lot of those people are, backing her, and that's why she has escaped firing, and I think you're going to see that battlefield between those two power brokers continue. I don't know how it ends, though.
It'll be fascinating, and it's certainly not the only university. We've seen the Penn University president, Liz McGill, step down. We've seen pressure on MIT as well, one of the other universities, to make testimony